Hello everybody, welcome back to Blurtbox. This is the series where I rig and animate the mascot for this channel. So thanks for joining me. We're going to crack on today with Blurt. We're going to animate him. This is the last video in this series where I rig and animate Blurt. Go check out the other two if you haven't. They're somewhere on my channel. So the previous two episodes I rigged Blurt in Toon Boom. And yeah, today, like I said, we're going to animate. But before that, I just want to go over how I plan this scene. Okay. As you can see here, his box, it's a bit rough, but his box, he's going to walk across, he's going to antic down, and then he's going to jump up, and he's going to scream something, and then he's going to jump down, and he's going to look all proud. Then I'm thinking he's going to jump back, and when he jumps up again, he's going to turn into box form. His arms and his legs are going to go inside him, and then he's going to flop back down. So first things first, we're going to dive into walk cycles. Now, to do a walk cycle successfully, there's 4 keys you have to implement. So this is from the Richard Williams book, Animated Survival Kit. So you have the contact down, pass position, up, and then you go into the contact for the other foot. So we're just starting on the contact right now, and this is where the leading foot is just touching the ground. Now with contact poses, you want a slight bend on the front leg, and a bit more of a bend on the back leg, and then we're going to go into the down position. So I have my leading stride pose here, and I have the reverse stride, and now I'm going to go into the down, which is the keys in between the 2 stride poses. And I'm doing a lot of flipping here to make sure there's no foot slippage, because that is a great way to make your animation look good. If you have feet sliding when they're walking, it looks not good. It looks tweeny and flashy and cheap. And you know, we're not cheap animators here at Blurtbox. Okay, so now I'm working on the up pose. It's called the up pose because it's when the character is at its highest, and this happens, you know, when a character is at their highest and they're basically transferring their momentum from their back foot to their planted front foot. Although I kind of messed it up here. It looks kind of weird. Like he's really stretching on that foot right there. I don't know. It feels kind of weird. One second. Let me just see what's going on here. You know, I think I don't have a down. Yeah, I don't think I have a down pose. Whoops. Anyways, thanks Preston Blair. So I'm going to put in the down pose after I realize my mistake, and then I'm going to tighten everything up for this first pass. Anyway, so I get the down in, and then I complete the other side, the other step, and then you have a usable walk, and I think pretty good. It's working. It's working at least. Now I'm going to get in the arms. So arms obviously swing back and forth, and you want that on a nice arc. That's one of the animation principles. So what you want to do is you want to get one swing, and then you want to get the other swing like this, and then you can tween in between them. And you also want to get some drag on the hands, because it's an exaggeration of life, and that's what animation is. You're exaggerating life. We're like magicians. So here's what it looks like with the drag in the hands, and it's all loosened up, and you know, I think that's working. Hooray, 1-0 me. That's a win, I'll take it. Okay, so I'm going to start experimenting with head drags now. Head drags are a great way to loosen up your character. You don't want stiffy, icky, disgusting robot characters. You want nice, loose characters that feel realistic. And what that does also is it gives your character a sense of weight, and it makes it feel alive. Okay. So you can see here I have the arms and the head rocking back and forth. Yeah, that feels good. It's got a bit of weight to it. I like that. Gimme, gimme. Alright, let's calm down. So here's the walk thus far. Yeah, that's working. I like it. I think that's good enough to continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that over, and then he's going to move on the top peg across on the x-axis. And then I'm going to start animating him into his front pose. So one thing you may have noticed is that I scrub a lot in the scene. Scrubbing is when you move back and forward so you can see the movement of your character, also known as flipping if you're a traditional animator. And I think it's really important because you can see the action. Well, you can see it in front of you. And I think, yeah, it's really important, and it's one thing I notice that juniors don't do enough in animation when they start animating in the industry. I see a lot of new animators using the onion skin tool. Onion skin is a button you can click, and it shows your frames before and after the frame you're on. So it's useful for, you know, if you're animating traditionally and you need to do a tight in between, so you can see exactly where you're going to plant your line in between your in-betweens. But yeah, make sure you flip, kids. So now I'm blocking out his jump. He's going to antic down and then jump up. And antic is short for anticipation. It's one of the principles of animation. So an antic is the action before your main action. So in this example, box guy is going to be jumping. So we're going to have him antic down, i.e. he's going to squash his legs. He's sort of creating the energy so he can jump. Yeah, I think I got it. Anyways, jumps. So I have the antic figured out, and now I'm blocking out the breakdown for the jump. A breakdown is, well, I'll get into breakdowns later in another video, but all you need to know right now is a breakdown is the pose between two key poses. It kind of dictates how you get from A to B. Yeah. And you can see here that the breakdown has a nice bit of stretch in it. And stretch is another principle of animation, along with squash. Along with squash. What I'm trying to say is stretch and squash are principles of animation. Okay, so now I'm figuring out the key at the top to the second pose at the top of the jump. What you want to do is you want to have, to kind of sell the jump, you want the foot that left the ground last to arrive at the top later than the leading foot. And the same applies when the character is coming down. You want one foot arriving before the other, preferably the one, I find, anyways, just through experimenting and a bit of experience, that having the foot that arrived at the top first generally looks better if it lands first. Sometimes you can get away with the foot that leaves the ground last, but you know, just kind of experiment, mess around, see what works for you. In another video later on I will do, in fact I might do the next video. Yeah, the next video I'm going to do some jumps, just different types of jumps. I find that look appealing and work. I'm going to have to build another character for that. I'm much more comfortable animating than I am building. Anyway, so at the top here I have Blurt saying something. He's going to say Blurt box, like that. Hopefully more enthusiastically than I just gave you. But this is the title card, so I'm going to have him say that, and he's going to, and the words are going to come out of his mouth, and they're going to appear on screen. You will see in the next video, it's going to look awesome. So mouth shapes, yeah, I'm just getting different mouth shapes in there, appealing mouth shapes, and I've adjusted the eyes. I drew another pair of eyes that sort of blinky, squinty, like thinking eyes, I call them. Because he's really trying to say the words. Okay, just tightening up the legs now. So the legs are coming up and they're going to go on an arc and then come back down, and he's going to land on them. And the hands are going to come up. I'm sorting out the hands now. I'm having them drag behind him to give a nice line of action. And then he's going to land and they're going to settle after his body finishes moving. Okay, that looks like it's working. It's nice and loose, looks alive for a box. Now we're going to move on to what's up next. Oh yeah, now so he's going to antic down and he's going to jump the other way and turn into box form. Because it's fun animation. We're having fun, right guys? Oh. Okay, so he's jumping up now, and I'm going to put the other break down in, stretch him out, make him look appealing, watch his volumes, all the important stuff. This is a slightly different jump, meaning I'm not worried about how the legs are gonna land because he's gonna pop into box form. So my only goal here is to make it look good. I guess that's the goal of every scene you do as an animator, is to just make it look good. And hopefully I'm pulling that off. So I have some drag through in the hands here, kind of elastic, and they're popping up. And he's gonna come down, land right there. Okay, so he's gonna come up here. Yeah, that's looking good. He's gonna come up, reach the apex of the arc, and then come down. Boom. I like it. It's coming together. We're getting there. We're getting there. Alright. And again, I'm gonna adjust the arms to have some follow through, to make it more appealing and flowy. It's probably not the right word I want to use, but it softens it up. And now I'm gonna make the arms and the legs start to disappear. And then the face is gonna start disappearing as well. Okay, so you can see what I'm going for here. He's gonna land on his bum and then rock back and forth. I think I'm also going to have him at the top when all of his limbs retract. I'm gonna have him sort of pop a little bit, sort of squish and pop up a little bit, and then he's gonna fall. Okay, so the action's looking like this right now, and then I'm gonna have him rock back and forth. I was experimenting with having a bit of squash at the bottom, and you could maybe do that, but I think at this point he's a box, right? He's a sort of object, and boxes are rigid, and you know there's no squash to a box. So I think when he's in character mode, he's gonna be malleable and squashy and squishy. But I think, yeah, when he's a box, he's gonna be a bit more stiff. So I'm gonna add some lip sync in now, and I'm just cycling through the different mouth shapes, just so you can say the words blurt box. And what you want to do is when you're doing lip sync, you want the shapes to move into the next shape. So you got to think about arcs and slow in and slow out there. That's really important. Having appealing lip sync is, yeah, it is important. Okay, so I'm finishing up now, and I'm going to show you at the end here what I came up with. Okay, yeah, I think that turned out pretty good. So yeah. Yeah, up next I'm gonna do some jumps, and I'm also gonna do some runs eventually. I don't really have a plan in place. I'm just gonna do some tutorials, maybe not even tutorials, just me animate some stuff and chat nonsense. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.